Good wishes for everybody. My name is Sudhakar. This is a second lecture in Python programming. Today we are going to discuss about installation of Python, identifiers and keywords, comments, and indentation. Installing Python, executing sample programs, identifiers and keywords, definitions for identifier and keywords, some examples, comments, different types of comments in Python, and indentation. Now we will see how to install Python first. For installing Python, already we discussed about this. Python is a open source, so it is available freely over internet. So python.org is the website, official website where we can download Python. Now we will see how to download Python over internet and then how to install Python. For that, you have to go to Internet Explorer or Chrome. Type here python.org and press enter. You will get this screen. In this screen, go to Downloads tab. In Downloads tab, you will see the latest version of Python. Python 3.10.7 is the latest version. And here you can also see the older versions. See this one, note. Python 3.9 plus cannot be used on Windows 7 or earlier. But in our system, we are having Windows 10, no problem. We can use 3.10.7. So for downloading, click on this. Here you will get download exe file for Python for Windows. This is for Windows. Or otherwise, you can also click here. Even your system, Windows operating system is there, click on Windows. Or your system is Linux or Unix, click on this link. Or in your system, operating system is Mac OS, you can click on this link. You will get the appropriate exe files for based on the operating system. If in your system operating system is other than Windows, Linux or Unix or Mac OS, you can go for link other. There you can find the appropriate exe file. Now you can, it's another way. You can also click here. Because my system is Windows system, that's what I clicked on Windows. You can see here redistributable package Python 3, it is Python 3.10.7. That's one. Here there are many links are there. Which one you have to download for your system? So that is based on your system, number of bits, architecture of the system. If your system is a 32-bit system, you can go for 32-bit. Download Windows installer for 32-bit system, and second one is Windows installer for 64-bit system. You can download any one of it. It's based on your system architecture. So my system is 64-bit. That's what I'm downloading. 64-bit. See, both are same. Python 3.10.7. Now, what you can do is directly you can double click on this link. This is the installer. Double click on this Python 3.1.10.7 click. Now it shows customization installation or install now. You can directly install by clicking here, or you can go for customized installations. Okay. So here install launcher for this and add Python 3.10 to path. If you click this checkbox, this path of this Python will be added to the environment available automatically. So you can run from command prompt, no problem. Now I'm going with the customization. Here documentation is there, PIP. The supporting all Python packages will be installed with this option. And ideally, so where we can execute our Python programs. This comes with Python 10.7. It is a default editor for writing and executing the programs, Python programs, and Python test suite for launcher. All these things will come automatically. If you don't want anything, you can uncheck the checkbox, but all these things are required. Let it be. And then next. Here you can see some advanced options here. Install for all users, Yes, it is required for all users. Select that one. Associate files with Python. Create a shortcut. All these things are required. And this is the where Python is installing in your system. It is showing the path here. See program files Python 310. This is the path. So if you want to change, you can also change by clicking the browse and select where you want, in which folder you want to install this Python. You can change it. So, but it is recommended installing here. And then next, press install button. Press install button. So when install button is pressed, the installation is going on. Initializing the installation part. So now I'm cancelling it because the installation is already done in my system. So I'm not continuing. Just for showing you, I have shown all these things steps. Now if you want to check whether Python is installed or not in your system, just open your command prompt in your system and type Python. So whenever you type Python, it displays the Python installed in our system and its version along with the version. See, Python 3.10.0 is the version which is installed on the system. And if you want to see execute the commands, they have given some sample commands to understand how to execute commands and all those things. This is how we can install the Python in our system. Suppose if you want to run some sample programs on Python command at a Python command run, that's yesterday we have discussed two modes of execution of the Python programs. First one is interactive mode or REPL mode, REPL mode. REPL mode in the sense read, eval, and print and loop. So all these operations you can perform at the command prompt itself. Now we will see a sample program, execution of the sample programs. I'm declaring a variable called name and assigning a string to that variable. Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. That's the string. And next, I'm printing the name. Print of name. See, it prints Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Like that, you can practice small commands at command prompt, REPL mode. This is how you can execute the programs. And next, another small program. For example, print hi star 5. See how it prints. It's looping the string hi 5 times. It means it's printing hi 5 times because I have given 5 there. And next again, if you want a space like this, you can print. Hi is printed 5 times. So because of I have given 5 there. If you want to print more number of times, change the code. So like this small commands you can practice here in command prompt. This is called the REPL mode or REPL mode. You can read, you can print, you can evaluate, you can loop the code. So all these things you can do here at the command prompt. This is called the interactive mode. Why it is called interactive mode? So it is just like interactive with the other person. So whenever you are giving an instruction or a command, immediately it gives the output to that command. So because of that, it is called the interactive mode. For example, A equal to 5 star 10 and print A. It prints 50. Means it is evaluating the expression here itself and printing the value. So evaluation of the expressions you can done at the command prompt itself. You can read the value. See A equal to 5 into 10. This is nothing but reading. Here also name equal to instead of aeronautical engineering. It's nothing but reading. I am giving input to variable name. So in Python, no need of giving data type in before the while declaring the variable. Directly you can assign the value based on the value input value. The variable type will be defined. Variable type will be considered. Like this, you can execute programs, many programs at a command prompt. These are the small programs just for the practice purpose. You can use this interactive mode. Okay, next, how to exit from this command prompt. You can execute the command exit command. So whenever you execute the exit command, it comes back to the Windows mode from the Python. That's how you can execute commands at a command prompt. There is one more mode where we have seen that apart from this apart from this REPL mode, you can also have IDLE mode or script mode. Second one is script mode. In this script mode, we can use an editor, text editor. So by default with Python, IDLE editor will come. You can also type programs here in IDLE editor. This IDLE editor is very useful for writing huge programs. Here see is the same thing. I can also type here print hello world in IDLE. So some syntax will happen. So initially I use single quotes and later I use double quotes. That may be the error. Print hello world, double quotes, and then enter. It prints hello world directly. So same programs you can also do here. So for example, name equal to Institute of Aeronautical, ideally. So name equal to Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Like this I have given, and I am now printing name. It prints instead of Aeronautical Engineering like this. So this is how you can execute your commands here also. And if you want to save this code, go to file and save is there. So you can save here. This is the Python files. So just sample program, sample Python, and then I'm saving it on desktop. So here by default it comes Python files. So save. You don't need to mention any extension because by default it use Python. See sample. Let's see this one, sample Python. So this is the Python code. This is how you can do it. So there is another one, another way of coding, that is in script mode. Just a file, click on file and go to new file. So here editor will open. Here you can type the programs. For example, same thing, name equal to Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, like this, and then print name, and then print name. This is how you can now go to file and save this as print name program, Python program, and save it is on desktop. You can save anywhere, but I am saving it on desktop for searching. It is easy for me to check. And then if you want to run it, go run module. See. Now you are able to see the result. Institute of Aeronautical Engineering here. This is how you can run the program. So typing in editor, if there are any changes, advantage of doing the programs in editor is you can edit the programs whenever you feel that something gone wrong or some errors are there while typing the programs. You can easily edit, and even large programs also you can do very easily. You can type large programs and you can edit the programs. You can save. All these things is very easy in doing while doing a script mode. That is the advantage of the script mode. You can do like this by using any editor. You can do. The execution is not only from here. It is running by clicking run and run module. Not only like that, you can also execute the program from the command prompt also. For that purpose, you need to navigate. For example, if you want to execute this one, I'll show you how you can do it. For example, your code is there here. So you just copy this path, or otherwise you can type CMD here. You will get to this, then type dir. You get what the files are there. Here you see sample python.py. Just type Python space and file name of the python.py. Now you will get that. I think mistake, typing mistake. SAMLEPYTHON.py. Like this, you can execute the Python programs. This is how you can execute the Python programs. Now we'll move on to next topic. We learn how to install, how to execute programs in Python ideally, and at the same time at shell command prompt. So now we will see next topic: identifiers and keywords in Python. So in any language, identifiers and keywords both are very, very important. If we see the definition and definition of a keyword. Keyword is nothing but a reserved word. Reserved word means that word. There are some words in any language which are having a predefined meaning. With a predefined meaning, you cannot use those words in your program as identifiers. So such a type of words are called keywords. They have a specific meaning. While writing programs, you can use them for making the syntaxes. For making the syntaxes, you can use the keywords, and each and every keyword is having its own meaning. So that's why these are also called reserved words. These are reserved for some special purpose. You cannot use them as identifiers in your programs. And we can see what is an identifier. Identifier is nothing but a name given to the variable. A name given to the variable. In a programming language, you take any programming language, while you are doing a program, you need to declare variables. While declaring a variables, to identify them uniquely, we have to give names to the variables. So such names are called the identifiers, through which we can identify that variable. So similarly, how we are all having names in the society. So why we are all having the names? So to identify a human being or to identify a person uniquely, we have a name. So similarly, in programming languages, while writing programs, we need variables. So when we are declaring variables, we will give names to those variables to identify variables uniquely. So those are called the identifiers. So whenever you are declaring variables, you have to give names. That is called identifier. While giving identifier, you should not use the keywords for giving the identifiers. So keywords are reserved words. Their meaning is already reserved. They have some specific functionality and specific meaning. You cannot use them as a identifier. If you use them as identifier, automatically interpreter throws an error. Those are the keywords and identifiers definitions. So now we will see uh, identifiers, how you can give names to the variables. Those are some rules you have to follow while declaring variables. Those variables, the identifier should start with a character. Definitely identifier should start with a character or underscore. You can start your variable name with character or underscore. A character means A to Z. It may be a capital A to capital, in between capital A and capital Z, or small a and small z in between. Otherwise, you can start with underscore. And other than the underscore, remaining special symbols are not allowed in variable names. It means hash symbol, at symbol, dollar symbol, percent symbol, exclamation symbol. All other symbols other than underscore are not allowed. You should not use all these special characters other than underscore in your identifier. So this is how you can also use digits in your identifier. From 0 to 9, you can use any number in your identifier. This is how you can define identifiers. Now we will see some examples. Here are naming conventions for Python identifiers. You can see example of valid identifiers, examples of invalid identifiers. So for valid identifiers, variable 1, here you started your variable with alphabet V and ended with numerical number 1. Variable 1 is where 1 is a valid identifier. You can also start with underscore. Yes, underscore where 1 is a valid identifier. So underscore 1 underscore where is a valid identifier. Var underscore 1 is a valid. These are all the examples for valid identifiers. Whenever you are declaring a variable, you can declare like this. For example, if you take invalid identifiers, here variable name is started with the exclamation symbol. This is not allowed. This is invalid identifier. Here variable name started with 1 integer. So this is also not valid. Integer is allowed using while declaring a identifier, but you should not start with integer. You should start either with character or underscore. You cannot start with a number. So that's why it is invalid. Here also variable name starts with number and followed by underscore. This is also invalid. Here variable hash symbol. So these special symbols other than underscore you cannot use in variable names. Similarly, you cannot use the white spaces also in between the variable names. That is also invalid. For example, if you declare a variable like this, so variable name, if you declare like this, for example, words are, otherwise, so my name is, if you want to declare like this, my name is, so in your meaning, my name is a single variable and you declare it like this and you have assigned your name like this, something like this. But interpreter won't allow to declare variables like this. You should not use empty spaces in between words. So if you want to declare in such a way, you can declare like this, my underscore, name underscore is like this, you can declare. You should not use white spaces, or you should not use other than underscore any other special characters. This is how you can declare variables. So these are the valid and invalid variables examples, identifiers examples, how you can do it. And next, see list of keywords. So there are totally 32, I think based on the version of Python, keywords number and the keywords will be changed. Very slight variation will be there in the number and keywords also. It varies from 32 to 39, I think. In 3.10, totally there are 37, 38 keywords are there. So these keywords, you should not use an identifier. You should not use as identifiers. You should remember all these things. While learning Python, you can easily understand which one is the keyword, which one is not a keyword, all those things. Day by day learning, you will definitely get all this knowledge. But it's the table, you can look at the table and you can have an idea about all these identifiers. So these keywords, almost all the keywords are in small letters except a few. So those are false. It starts with capital F. None. It starts with capital N. And true. It starts with capital T. Other than these three, remaining all keywords are in small letters only. These things you need to remember. These are the keywords. You should not use these keywords as identifiers. This is the note you need to remember. Next thing, comments in Python. So in any programming language, comments is also an essential part. So without comments, so readability becomes somewhat difficult. Understandability and readability becomes somewhat difficult. So why comments are required? So first we will see what is a comment. So whenever you made any line as a comment, that line will be omitted by the interpreter. It cannot be executed. It's simply omitted. It won't consider as a program. Interpreter won't consider that line as a program. So why we use these comments in our program means, so for giving an explanation about the code, the piece of code, what it is going to be done, or it describes the variable, or it describes the function, it describes the piece of the program for what is the purpose of that variable and what is the purpose of that function, what is the purpose of that code piece you are going to write or you are going to declare in your program. So description about all those things. So because of this description, the entire code, understanding of the code becomes very easy for the programmers, and readability improves and understandability also improves. That is the main motivation of these comments in any programming language. Here in Python, we have three different types of comments: single line comments, multi-line comments, and docstring comments. You see, single line comments in the sense, the comment is, you can make a comment in single line, just a single statement or single sentence in single line. So single line comment can be declared by using the hashtag. By using the hashtag, you can declare a single line comments. Whatever the statement you type followed by hashtag, after the hashtag, whatever the string you type, that treats as a comment. So interpreter won't execute that statement. So that demonstrate about the next lines of the code. See here an example, Python program to demonstrate comments. So this string precedes with the hashtag. So that hashtag indicates to that hashtag indicates that this Python program to demonstrate comments line is itself a comment. So this line will never execute by the interpreter. So next again, there is hash and sample comment is there. That line is also treated as comment. And then next, variable name is declared. Institute of Aeronautical Engineering assigned a string assigned to the variable name, and we are printing the name. So in this program, only name will be printed as an output instead of Aeronautical Engineering. But those two statements, whatever are there, Python program to demonstrate comment and sample comment, those two strings will not execute. Why those are available in program? Just for the programmer's purpose and to demonstrate the core piece of the code, what you are going to be write to understand very easily. That is the purpose of comments. So comments generally used for the following purpose: code readability, explanation of the code or metadata of the project, prevent execution of the code, to include resources. We already discussed about all these things. Single line comments we have discussed. So comment is available in single line only. So such a type of comments we can call single line comments. And the next, multi-line comments. So in other languages like C, Java, we can have a definition and a mechanism for declaring multi-line comments. But in Python, there is no direct mechanism for declaring multi-line comments, but we can achieve it by using some techniques, programming techniques. How we can achieve a multi-line comments in Python in the sense, by using multiple hashtags. It means by giving multiple single line comments, we can make it as a multi-line comments. So by using multiple single line comments, we can make it as a multi-line comment. And next thing, another one is always the string literals which does not assign to any variable. The string literal which does not assign to any variable, that will be omitted by the interpreter. It means interpreter won't execute such a type of strings. So the strings which are not assigned to any variable, such type of strings will not be executed by the interpreter. So we can also use that facility. For defining multi-line comments. So that is also one of the technique using string literals. See here in this example, in three single quotes, I have written 2 lines. I am a multi-line comment like this. So here we are not assigning this. I am a multi-line comment string. I am not assigning to any variable. So because of that, this statement or these 2 lines of strings will omit by the translator. It won't execute. Python translator won't execute all these things, and it executes only print hello world, and it prints hello world only. So that is how you can achieve multi-line comments in Python. And next one is Python docstring. Another one. Python, if you see the Python docstring is nothing but while writing programs to explain about the functions and to create documentation about the program, we use this docstring comments. So these docstring comments we can make within triple quotes. So 3 double quotes we will give consecutively, 3 double quotes like this. Double quotes, and write your comments here. And then end these double quotes like this. So this string treated as a docstring. Docstring is nothing but which explains about the code. After writing any function or any module, immediately after to that module or a function, you can write this docstring which explains about that function or a module. So description about that function or a module. Later on, if you want to make a documentation regarding your program or a project, you can generate documentation from this docstrings. See here in this example, def multiply a comma b. Here you are defining a multiplication function, multiply a comma b function, and immediately after that function there is a docstring. Multiplies the value of a and b like that, and here returning a into b. So whenever I am print multiply dot underscore, now it prints only that statement. If you want to print that docstring like this, you can print multiply dot underscore doc underscore like that. Means whatever docstring is given after the multiply function, that docstring will be printed on the console. That is how you can use the docstrings also in Python. Okay, these are about the comments. Comments are essential in any programming language. There are different types of comments: single line comments, multi-line comments, and docstring comments. Single line comments you can declare by using hashtag. Multi-line comments, there is no direct way of declaring multi-line comments in Python. You can use string literals, that is in double quotes, and without assigning to any variable. That string literals will be treated as comments, and you can use multiple hashtags for declaring multi-line comments in Python. And last final one is a docstring. Docstring is for documentation purpose. Whenever you written any modules or functions, classes and methods, all those things, to describe those functions, modules, functions, classes and methods, you can use this docstrings. Later on, if you want to generate a documentation regarding this, you can also generate the documentation. That is the purpose of the docstring. So why these documentations and comments are required? So this improves the readability of the program, and people, the programmers who want to continue who want to continue the coding, they can easily understand what so far has done and what they have to do. All those things they can easily understand and they can continue. Next one, Python indentation. Python indentation is also very, very important. So, what is the meaning of indentation? Indentation is nothing but the adding white spaces before a statement. Indentation means adding white space before a statement, before a Python statement. When you are writing Python instructions or Python statements or Python commands, while writing Python commands, so we have to add white spaces before the statement. So this is the rule in Python because it maintains code as a blocks. Generally, if you see C or Java in such a type of programming language, they use braces to maintain the code. To maintain the code blocks, they use braces. So whatever the code you have written within this open and closing braces, that code is called as a block, as a single block. Similarly, here in Python does not use any braces in program. So it uses indentation to make a code as a blocks. So Python uses indentation to make code as a block. See here in Python code, statement if condition is there. So inside the if condition, there is one more if condition is there, but indentation is there here. You can see the indentation. So inside if condition, there is again a statement, but indentation is there. So some white spaces we added here. And then else. Inside the else, again there is another statement with some indentation. And again a statement. So this is how we can make the indentations or white spaces before starting a statement. Now how interpreter looks at this program, see, here you can see now. This code block 1 begins at the statement 1. This is the first code block 1 begins. And then code block 1 continues. Because if two statements are having a same indentation level, then those two belongs to the same block. Same block. That's why here code block 1 begins, code block 1 continues, because this statement and if condition both are having the same indentation here. Because of that, or both are started at the same line. Because of that, those two belongs to the same block. And then if see the inner if condition, but it has some white spaces before if condition. It means this belongs to another code block. Now code block 2 begins here. Code block 2 begins here. And then again, if you see the statement inside the if condition, it has some more indentation or some more white spaces before the statement. So it means it is another code block begins here. And then else. But else is also having some indentation, but the white spaces before the else and the white spaces before the if, internal if, both are same. So in such cases, these two belongs to same block. That's why code block of 2 continues here. Okay. And next one, in else statement, inside the else we have a statement. So this statement is having some additional white spaces when compared with the else. It means it is another code block. So another code block. At the same time, the number of white spaces before the statements in else condition and the number of white spaces before the statements in the internal if condition is same. That's why these two belongs to same block. See, code block 3 begins and code block 3 continues. Code block 2 begins and code block 2 continues. How you can decide this one is a code block 2 based on the number of white spaces in front of the statement. Here, number of white spaces before the internal if condition and the number of white spaces before the else, both are same. That's why these two belongs to same code block. Here, number of white spaces before the statement and number of white spaces before if, both are same. Because of that, these two belongs to same code block. And then final statement, before the final statement also there is no any indentation, and in if condition there is no any indentation, and this statement starting statement also there is no any indentation. Because of that, these three belongs to same. The statement, this if condition, and this statement belongs to same block. That is block 1. See here, code block 1, code block 1, and code block 1. These three belongs to same block because there is no indentation in front of the starting of the statements. If you take a second if internal if condition, it has some indentation, and whichever the code block statement is having same number of indentation, then those two belongs to same block. That's why a if and else belongs to code block 2. And then inside the if condition there is a statement, inside the else there is another statement. Both are having the same white space, same number of white spaces before starting the statements. That's why those two belongs to code block 3. In such a way, code blocks will be defined with the help of indentation. So what is the use of this indentation? Again, it improves the readability. Code will be arranged neatly and it can be easily understood. That is the advantage of this indentation. It is mandatory in Python doing this indentation because Python doesn't use any braces for code blocks. So that's why indentation is important. Next thing. It is explanation, just whatever we have explained there. The same thing. Yes, it gives better understanding, better looking, and it tells compiler, interpreter. So these statements belongs to this block, these statements belongs to this block, like that. It also tells to the interpreter. But languages like C, C++, Java, all these things, they use braces for their coding purpose. For example, if you want to write in C program, you can write like this main, okay, like this. Within the braces, you can write the code like this. So such a type of braces and such a type of structure of the program is not available in Python. Python uses indentation instead of braces. So that's why indentation is very, very important in Python. See here an example program. So here indentation, you can see that first line starts without any indentation and next line also starts without any indentation. Means there is no without any white space. And next a variable is declared site equal to gfg, value is assigned to that one. And then if a statement is started, for this also there is no any indentation or any white space in front of the if statement. So it means these 4 lines, of course these 2 are comments. You can omit those comments, no issue. These 2 lines belongs to same block because number of white spaces before is 0 for the 2 statements. For the 2 statements, number of white spaces is 0. So those 2 belongs to same block. You can say block 1. And then see the print inside the if. The print is having some white spaces. So because of it belongs to block 2. For example, block 2. And else. For this else and if, the number of white spaces before starting the statements is 0. There is no white spaces. So this else also belongs to block 1. Okay. Now see the print in else. Print in else block is having some white spaces, but this number of white spaces before the print statement in else and the number of white spaces before the print statement in if, both are same. That's why it belongs to block 2. Okay. Next again, print all set. So we are printing all set. This before this print statement, there is no white spaces. So like this, there is no white spaces in front of the else. There is no white spaces in front of the if and side also. So this belongs to block 1. Okay. So in this program, we have 1, 2, 3 statements belongs to block 1 and 2 statements belongs to block 2. So this is how these indentations in this program tells to the compiler there are two blocks in the program. So block 1 and block 2. These are the statements in block 1, these are the statements in block 2. Like that, it tells the interpreter while executing the program. This is how you can write the programs. Indentation is very, very important. You need to follow indentation while writing the programs. The advantage is understanding is very easy and looks pretty, and code will be maintained in blocks. So because of that, it looks very beautiful. So all these things are the advantages. And general for indentation, Python takes 4 white spaces. Generally, Python takes 4 white spaces for indentation. By default, Python takes 4 white spaces. But if you want, you can change. You can give 5 or 4, 6. But you should have a proper idea while giving the white spaces. So first of all, you should know. So this statement belongs to which block. If while coding, you should have such a knowledge so that you can give number of spaces white spaces before a statement. So that is very, very important. Like that, you can define. See here, another example. Say equal to 1, while j less than or equal to 5. Print j equal to j plus 1. So this is the program here. So we have declared a variable called j equal to 1 with this statement, and there is no indentation, there is no white space in front of the declaration of the j, and also we are assigning value 1 to j. And next statement is while statement. While j is less than or equal to 5, there is no white space in front of the while also. So now these two belongs to block 1, because number of white spaces in front of those two statements are same, either 0 or 1 or 2, whatever it may be, but there are no any white spaces, or there is no any indentation in front of those two white spaces, those two statements. That's what those belongs to same block. And now see the print inside the while loop. There are some white spaces. Okay, some space or white spaces is there. So it belongs to block 2 here. Similarly, j equal to j plus 1. It is also having some white spaces in front of the statement, and the number of white spaces in front of the statements for this print j and j equal to j plus 1 is same. So that's why these two belongs to block 2. These two statements belongs to block 2 here. And now this program prints this the output. So this is how we can give the number of white spaces before the statements. That is called the indentation. There are some important points to understand. To indicate a block of code in Python, you must indent each line of the block by the same white space. So here the number of white spaces is 0. Because of that, these two belongs to block 1. Here the number of white, for example, if you take 4 white spaces here, and here also 4 white spaces, because of that, these two statements belongs to block 4, like that. Same white spaces you have to use to make it to confine that statement to a particular block. You need to use the same number of white spaces in the statements in that block. Next one, the two lines of code in the while loop are both indent some spaces. So here in while loop there are some spaces. Both are having the same number of white spaces. Because of that, those two belongs to the same block. Okay. So within a while block, so Python code structures by generally in any other programming language we have braces for code structure, but here in Python is not using any braces or brackets for structuring the program. Here, with the help of indentation only, Python can structure its program. That is the importance of the indentation. See, note, Python uses 4 spaces as indentation by default. By default, it automatically takes 4 spaces for indentation. But if you want, you can change it. No issue. Okay, thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.